Now, that all adds up to what led to us seeing the decisions made at the Security Council, which Security Council involves African members. There was South Africa, there was the Gabon, there was Nigeria among them. They all voted yes for the no-fly zone. And I guess it was in the context of saying this is no longer just a Libyan matter. It is a matter that threatens lives, thousands of lives, or hundreds of thousands, and it is a threat coming from these people's leaders or leader. Now, you could have said, oh, leave it to them, they'll sort it out. I'm not sure about what that means. That you leave it to the people in Benghazi. Some of these, well, unless these pictures we see on television are telling us lies, that's a different issue. It has nothing to do with my principles or my position. That you would say, no, let those women and children and armed civilian fight it out with tanks and artillery and the Air Force of Gaddafi. I don't know what you're talking about. So my position was simple. It was to say, because there were noises, no, leave this matter to Libyans to sort it out, or leave it to Africa. Well, if it is Africa, we are not short of problems we have to address. Of course, there is the Ivory Coast waiting next door. So why isn't Africa resolving it and finishing with it? There are still problems. There is Somalia, there is still Darfur, there are, Southern Sudan. So I don't think Africa is short of problems to address that we are asking people to leave us with more problems or bring more problems to us for us to address. So I don't think this is the situation yet. Plus, are these situations matters? We say, no, leave them to us. If it is the government's killing their own people, the government will say, no, leave this matter to me. These are my people. I'm killing my own people, not yours. Or, I just don't understand the argument. Now, whether people now use this genuine situation that demands certain answers for different interests and wanting to explain this, that's beside the point, in my view. You can accuse them of that because you have identified the reason for it, and you will be right. But you also accept that maybe, or actually not maybe, that protecting people that are threatened is key and important and urgent. And you can't wait for the nicety of saying, no, leave it to me, let me think of how I deal with it, and then you take a couple of months thinking about how to deal with it. But those killing them are not waiting, they are killing them. This is what the point is all about. So, as far as my position, principled position, and independence of mind and action are concerned, I'm still as intact as you know me. So there's no question about it. So I have no qualms about people killing their own people, or people who their people are revolting against being shot out of place or fought as should be. I have no qualms about it. My job is not to protect such a people. Now, about companies belonging to Libya that are here. I'll give you additional information. In fact, some of them even before anything started happening in Libya, we are having problems already with our people here because they are not doing what the agreement was about when they were buying these assets. Like the telecom company was already having serious problems with the regulator. Even before this other issue. So there is already actually an ongoing problem. And our regulator is dealing with the matter, has been dealing with the matter. So that came before, it has nothing to do with. But now that there is a UN resolution, and therein sanctions, then maybe your question is, are you going to abide by the resolution of the UN Security Council? Maybe that is the question. So it's not a matter of whether these things continue or they don't. No, there is a resolution. Unless the resolution is changed to say something else. If it exists, I think legally we are bound to act within those international and legal obligations. So that is what is going to happen.
Irene? Thank you, Your Excellency. I'm Irene Birungi Mugisha from Uganda Broadcasting Corporation. And Your Excellency, if you don't mind, I have two questions. One is about,
Sure.
yes,
Sure.
yes, Your Excellency. One is about the East African Common Market, which we know that is in place, but it has its own hiccups. What are your thoughts and way forward? The other question is about, we have, of course, we know that Mo Ibrahim has reports about indicating that Rwanda continues to have great strides in terms of good governance and fight against corruption. What can the other East African countries or African countries learn from you? Thank you.
Common market of East Africa, or like other stages we've gone through or we will go through, they will always, first of all, we've taken this direction because of our beliefs and the obvious opportunities that are in doing what we are doing in terms of integration and coming together as an East African community, and many things we are doing. That's one. Number two, there will always be challenges in making these steps forward. Because people have different views, they have different concerns, they really see things, we all see things differently, but we have a common objective. So it's this phase of bringing together all our views and trying to find a common way forward that poses these challenges. And I think it is in that regard that you will discover some of the problems you are talking about. We started with the customs union, it had problems, people had concerns, and in some cases they are genuine concerns and they need answers, and people put their heads together and really find answers, and we move on. And the same way, I think the East African Common Market has already made advances in a number of ways, probably more than really where we still have challenges. But even these challenges, I'm sure the partner states come together in different forums and they find solutions, and that's what is happening. So I don't think there is anything out of the what was expected. No, it is all expected. These programs are expected, and so we will soon be making good progress, and I think already good progress has been made. Fighting corruption. Well, evidently in our open societies, as I said earlier, we see things differently. We have different approaches to dealing with them, and but I think generally, whether it is in Rwanda, in East Africa, or beyond, I have not heard of anybody praise corruption and say it is a good thing. It's at least I have not heard anybody argue for corruption. Everybody talks about how corruption is bad and we need to deal with it. That's good. That's a good starting point. The other point is, however, that, okay, now that we agree that corruption is bad and it affects all our ways of life, how do you go about fighting against corruption? What do we do about it? And do we go ahead and do it? This is where the difference comes in now. There are those who definitely agree corruption is bad, we need to fight it, and go ahead and do it, and fight corruption. and put ways, put institutions, put mechanisms, put ways of dealing with it. And then they will get good results in the end, I believe. There are others who say corruption is bad, but when it comes to dealing with it, then they start making different considerations, and maybe they, according to them, they find it harder to fight than they maybe thought, because there are other interests or considerations, I don't know. So that's where the difference lies. And fighting corruption is not easy. Let me also say that. It comes with certain costs, political or otherwise. You fight corruption, you hold the people accountable, then they go kicking and screaming and making accusations how this is political, how they are being oppressed for their views, when it is actually corruption. And of course, there will be people who will listen to this kind of thing. And so in a way, then, therefore, some people start wavering and start, succumbing to, these manipulations and pressures. They don't want to be accused of, having done this and that, and they give in. So they give in to corruption just because they are fearing the pressures that come out from fighting it.